What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. It is dun 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 Friday the 13th. Ooh-wee-oo. I've been saying for years I need to do a Friday the 13th special episode. I could have done it today because I did get up a little early today, but I had shit to do. Had to get some groceries, go grocery shopping, just a little bit. Did some dishes, shaved my face. Yeah, I had shit to do. Sorry. But one day we will do a Friday the 13th episode and the origin of it, because it's Knights Templar related. Jacques de Molay. If you know what de Molay is basically the kids' version of Freemasonry. You have like the females version, which is like Order of the Eastern Star. Black version, which is Prince Hall. Normal Freemasonry. And then you have the kids' version. Get them while they're young, de Molay. Which William Cooper was a member of de Molay. That's how he got a top secret clearance when he was in the Navy. He was naval intelligence. They asked him, hey, have you ever been a part of any form of Freemasonry? And he's like, yeah, I went to de Molay when I was a kid. I'm not sure what goes on there. I know Walt Disney was a member of de Molay. Maybe we'll do a whole deep dive on de Molay. But it was named after Jacques de Molay, the leader of the Templars, which a lot of people say that Freemasonry, the origin, came from the Templars. The origin itself, I've heard multiple different stories on the origin of Freemasonry, and even Freemasons don't even know. So, unless you're like maybe Illuminated Lodge, like past the 33rd degree, I don't know. I'm not on the level. As they would say, I'm not on the level, I tried joining multiple times, but because you only have to get like 2 invites to come, and they always keep their doors locked, but then at the same time they'll sit there and bitch about membership, So yeah, I've just been chilling, playing some video games. I'm getting actually decently far on Legend of Zelda 2. I beat a dungeon last night. I got the hammer today. I got the fairy spell. I got the downward thrust. I'm fucking slaying, baby, in Zelda 2. So I will do a review on it. I'm currently kind of stuck on Oracle of Ages. So I need to work on it. So we've been cleaning the fuck out of the store this week. I've already said, dude, it has been a rough past 2 weeks, man. We have been just busting ass trying to win this stupid competition, and we got the results in today, and apparently we tied with a store in Winchester, which, hey, I'm cool with it. I could have cared less. I know a lot of the other employees were like, we gotta win this. I wake up with this. This is my attitude every day. And this is how I was raised. My parents always said, just because I would come home with a report card of like C's and D's and sometimes F's. And they would literally, I never got punished for my grades. And people could probably say like, hey, that's bad parenting, whatever. My parents were always like, are you trying your best? Are you genuinely trying your best? And I'd be like, yeah, I just don't get math. Like, I suck at math. And they're like, well, as long as you're trying, just do your best. That's all you can do, is just do your best, And I don't know. That's the way I've always kept that mentality. Like, yes, my dad was abusive and my mom was like, just allowed it to happen, basically. instead of running away from him and getting CPS involved, you know, like she just kind of zoned out and just let him beat the shit out of us and stuff. Thanks, Mom. But they were super chill when it came to grades, and I've always kept that mentality and philosophy within my life of like, hey, I'm doing my best, and I do. I wake up every day and I give 100% to be the best person I can, the hardest worker that I can. You know, I give 100% every day, and that's all you can do. So, and I tell my coworkers that, you know, they'll be like, oh, we got to win this competition. I'm like, I could care less. And they're like, oh, you don't care about the company? No, it's not that. Every single day I give 100%. I don't care if there's a competition going on. I don't care if, you know, every day I give 100%. So that's what you get every day. There's no less, there's no more. You know, I come in here even when I'm sick as a dog going, hey, I feel like shit today. But I still give 100%. That's all you can do, you know. But I'm glad we tied instead of lost completely. So, all right. Hopefully that doesn't entail another checkup, because they did that last time. We tied with someone last time for some sort of walkthrough, and they made us literally do all this cleaning again. So hopefully that's not what that entails. But let's get on with the show. Enough of my personal life talk. So today might be a little bit all over the place, but I don't mind those episodes every now and then. There might be multiple different subjects today. So, I've studied the Menendez brothers a little bit. It was crazy. Like, I was born in 91, so I actually remember, like, my parents watching and talking about the O.J. Simpson and the white Bronco. I can't remember what year it was, and it might have just been like several years after it actually happened live on TV that maybe they were watching a documentary or a news piece about, but I clearly remember that growing up in the 90s, of the whole O.J. Simpson white Bronco. As a kid, I don't remember. I'm like, I don't get it. Why is he driving super slow? Why are there like a billion cops behind him? And I just didn't understand the significance of it. And I do remember there was a movie called Cable Guy. I've talked about my dad being a cinephile on this channel, of like, he was obsessed with movies. Like, we had an entire room dedicated to VHS, DVDs. It literally looked like a blockbuster. It was fucking awesome. So I grew up watching like tons of movies. So like, honestly, dude, I could probably start like a movie podcast and just sit and talk for hours about movies. I love movies, you know. And I remember this movie Cable Guy with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick, and I don't remember what was going on in the movie, but I remember they kept showing clips of like the Menendez brothers trial, and I think Ben Stiller played the Menendez brothers or whatever, or one of them or something. It's all I fucking remember. I don't remember what it was about. I just remember my parents talking about it every time they'd show the Menendez brother clips. They'd be like, oh, remember that time period? Like, you know, and I'm like, I don't get it. Because I was a little kid. So, where am I going with this? I'm not super educated on the Menendez brothers. I did listen to a series that Last Podcast on the Left put out about the Menendez brothers. Go check that series out. And I don't have enough info to put in a whole lot of like, are they innocent? Are they guilty? If their stories are true, I'll say this. Hot take, you know. I hope the comment section doesn't blow up, because like I said, I'm very uneducated with the Menendez brothers. And I do love true crime. We cover true crime on this channel quite a bit, actually. But I'm very if the story is true that their dad was like raping both of them, I'm not gonna lie, dude. This might be a hot take or whatever, but I'm kind of cool with them killing their fucking dad. If he was really like honestly like raping and shit, sexually abusing them, like I think they should be. I don't even think they should have did time if what they say is true. So, listen to this shit. I was watching one of these TikTok reaction channels on YouTube. It's hard to keep up because, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but like almost all of them are black dudes, and it's hard to remember where I seen what, you know. Anyways, somebody had put out a TikTok, and you guys know me, I give proper shout outs whenever I do know the content creator. P. Diddy and the Menendez brothers have a link, and I wonder, we've covered P. Diddy a little bit on this channel, not as much as a lot of other content creators, but I found this interesting that the rabbit hole goes deeper. So there's a link between P. Diddy and the Menendez brothers. So if the Menendez brothers were sexually abused and P. Diddy was a sexual abuser, there's a lot of sexual abusers obviously in Hollywood. The Menendez brothers' dad worked at RCA Records, and obviously the dad was supposedly, like, allegedly a pedophile, you know, raping the two brothers and shit. He worked for RCA Records. The CEO of RCA Records is a dude named Clive Davis, and he is P. Diddy's mentor. P. Diddy has literally said, like, this dude is my mentor. I'm not saying guilty by association. I don't know enough about this Clive Davis dude. And this TikTok was very short, but he's like, hey, I think this is worth mentioning. There's a connection of RCA Records. There's a connection of this dude named Clive Davis. So I'm actually going to write it down. Do you guys, and I know for some reason people do not comment on my videos, which is really weird because I'm like, dude, like, for one, it boosts me up the algorithm. Two, I always ask you guys if there's something I don't know about, tell me in the comments, dude. So, is there any dirt on this Clive Davis dude? And I wrote it down. We're gonna have to do a whole episode of deep dive on this Clive Davis dude, because basically this TikToker was like, hey, just throwing this out here, check this guy out, you know, telling the community, hey, look into this guy. I don't know. I'm curious. Do you guys know anything about this Clive Davis guy? And is it even worth going down that rabbit hole and doing a whole episode on Clive Davis? Because I've delved in, speaking of records and record deals and all that shit, record companies, we've went down the rabbit hole a little bit on the Geffen records. Go check an episode out. It's called Steven Tyler is a Creep. And we kind of get into the whole Geffen records and shit. Apparently that dude was shady as fuck. Like, there's murders surrounding him and pedophilia surrounding this Dave Geffen, I think his name is. And this is all alleged. This is entertainment purposes only. But just something to look into. There's a lot of shadiness, and honestly, I was talking to my buddy yesterday. I was like, dude, Hollywood is Babylon. LA is Babylon. And I was like, dude, whether it's modeling, record business, music industry, movie industry, it's all fucking shady. Anything coming out of that Hollywood Babylon town, state. That whole state needs to drop off the face of the earth. It is just fucking Babylon. But yeah, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Next subject. So, once again, this was one of those TikTok reaction channels. This I find very interesting. So, we've talked about it in passing, about WikiLeaks and their connections with the CIA. I mean, not WikiLeaks, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Wikipedia. We talked about Wikipedia is basically run by the CIA. I have pretty much completely stopped using Wikipedia. I remember, like, back in the day, dude, this shows you that I'm like an old 90s conspiracy theorist. Like, when Wikipedia first came out, dude, like, Wikipedia was like the gospel. I remember, you know, you'd get in an argument with your friend about an urban legend, which I don't even think this generation knows what an urban legend is. We'll have to do a whole episode or a series on urban legends. So, Boomer here, Boomer, back in the day, like pre-internet and shit, and in the early days of the internet, we had these things called urban legends, which was like legends, like modern legends. And it was used as a way to, like, keep your kids from going into the woods, or to get your kids to come in before the sun goes down. It's just little rumors and legends and shit. Like, there was one of Marilyn Manson removing his rib cage to, like, suck his own dick. Pop rocks and soda make your stomach explode. Like, fun shit. We're gonna do a whole episode on urban legends. That sounds fun. Where was I going though? Oh, so, like, Wikipedia though was like gospel of, like, because we still had urban legends going around, I'd say early 2000s up until about 2010, because I graduated high school 2010 and we still had urban legends. Let me know, by the way, if you're a younger listener, and if, like, if y'all's generation still have urban legends. I am very curious on that, because that is one thing, like, that is sad to see go. Like, is urban legends even still around? But we found out later on that it was CIA. So obviously all the conspiracy theorists were like, fuck, man, there went Wikipedia, because we used to love Wikipedia, man. Go look at, like, classic old conspiracy videos. Content creators were using Wikipedia like crazy, you know? And I fell for it. But it's CIA. CIA runs Wikipedia. So, there is a dude named Ricky Sanger. He is the founder of Wikipedia. And he was on an interview. He was on a podcast. I don't know what podcast it was. Otherwise, I would shout it out. He was on someone's podcast, and they got into the conversation of Christianity. And apparently, he is a Christian now. And the person was like, well, why have you become a Christian? You know, and he said, him and a friend, were talking about, basically, he came to, he didn't really, like, go into super big detail, but it was interesting. He said he pretty much, like, quit the whole Wikipedia shit and became a Christian because he started seeing things. And he said that all these people, like the elites, the higher up that he started getting up the pyramid, he started noticing that they're all, like, occultists, and they're into, like, pedophilia. And these are, like, his words, you know. He was literally like, yeah, I kind of quit the whole Wikipedia shit, and I became a Christian, and I kind of dropped out of the whole scene and society in general, kind of like became a recluse, because I noticed that the higher up you get, they're all occultist, is what he said. They're all into the occult, the elites. Which we knew this. We knew this, people. But it's refreshing to know that even the founder of Wikipedia, who had like CIA connections, like kind of woke up and dropped out of society and became a recluse and was like, homie, like, the higher up I started going up the pyramid, dude, it gets creepy and it gets fucking weird. And I know, like, I went pretty hard on the Christians last episode, and I do say, like, man, I try to not go super hard on the Christians, and I try to chill out. The older I've gotten, I've tried to chill out on the whole Christianity shit. It's just, dude, I was, religiously abused, Christian abuse, and it's hard for me not to, like, want to, like, punch my abuser in the face, metaphorically, if that makes sense. But look, man, if Ricky Sanger is a Christian now, in the words of Glenn Danzig, and I've said this 1,000 times, if religion makes you a better person and it makes you happy and it helps you get through the day, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But one thing, and I can't help because I'm a conspiracy theorist, this tinfoil hat has melted into my skull. I can't take it off. Ricky Sanger. The last name Sanger. That's not a very common name. Who else is a Sanger? Margaret Sanger. Who is Margaret Sanger? The founder of Planned Parenthood. We need to do a whole fucking deep dive episode on Margaret Sanger. Sketchy as fuck. There's stories of her basically starting Planned Parenthood and putting it into black neighborhoods because she literally, this is all entertainment, was a racist and wanted to get rid of the black race along with Mexicans, anything non-white basically. So she purposely would put Planned Parenthood abortion clinics in, sadly, ghettos. Of like, well, y'all can't afford children. Let's just kill all those little black babies, those little brown babies, Kill them off. Let the white man take over, So go look into her, dude, Margaret Sanger. Apparently, yeah, she was a piece of shit. She was a eugenicist. And you know me, dude. I don't believe in eugenics. First of all, anyone who says there's too many people on this planet, I go, where do you live? Because, I'm in the big city right now. Well, I know you guys are like, there's woods and shit. This is a big city for Kentucky. I'm in Nicholasville, and Nicholasville and Lexington are like so back to back, so fucking close that it's literally, I consider it pretty much one town. And I know the locals would hate to hear that. We're separate. No, y'all are one fucking city, man. 5 minutes that way, I'm in Lexington. They need to just merge the two. So I'm in a big city, and what the fuck was I saying? Oh, eugenics. Like, when I go 5 minutes that way and I go into Lexington, because the mall is literally 10 minutes down the road, and I'm at the mall. I'm in, like, Main Street, not Main Street, but, it's a main street in Lexington, which is our second biggest city. Louisville's the biggest. So yeah, looking around, it's like, damn, there's too many fucking people. But if you go 10 minutes down the road this way, you hit the country and there's no one. There's crickets. There's cicadas. There's cows. There's nothing. And it blew my mind. I flew from Florida to Detroit, Michigan when I was a kid. And I remember just getting it drilled into my fucking head at Northwest Elementary School. We are the Mustangs at Northwest Elementary. We are the very best. Sorry, my programming. I remember it being drilled in my head, this propaganda that the world is overpopulated. And in flying on this plane, and I was so mesmerized. It was my first and one and only time ever flying on a plane. I'll probably never fly again if they keep doing this fucking smart ID or whatever the fuck it is. You need a passport to travel in the US. It's fucking retarded to fly. But I was so mesmerized. I had a Game Boy Color with Link's Awakening, and I didn't even turn the motherfucker on. And I was sitting next to an old lady who was reading tabloid magazines, and she said, "Hey, honey, is this your first time flying? You're sitting next to me." And I said, "Okay, yeah." And she said, "Well, first time flyers get the window seat." She was so sweet. I was a little kid, so I don't remember, but she's dead now, obviously, but she was such a sweet lady. I wish I knew her name or something, but she's like, "First time flyers get the window seat, honey." So I sat in the window and popped that blind up. And dude, as soon as we got in the air, I was just mesmerized. It was like a 4 or 5 hour flight. And I was glued to the window, like looking down. And if you've never been on a plane, dude, like when you look down, it's nothing but everything looks like a microchip. You have like sand and everything's in squares. It's so fucking weird. Just squares of like cornfield, sunflower, and it all is different, multicolored. Honestly, like Zelda 2, like everything looks like it's tiles, you know? And you come across the city every now and then. And it's little tiny, almost like little ant piles of cities. But the vastness of just green fields of dirt roads and nothingness is like 100. That's being on the low end of a random number. Like 100 times more than those little tiny itty bitty patches of city. We are not overpopulated. We really aren't. Someone did a math equation of like, they could literally give every single US citizen their own acre of land with how much fucking land we have. And we all know all the maps are fucking wrong. I'm not a flat earther, but we all know all the maps are wrong. And if the maps are wrong, why is it that every picture of Earth from space is literally depictions of the wrong maps? America is not shaped how they show us it's shaped. It's really not. Someone actually has figured that shit out and went, this is how it's actually shaped. Well, if that's how it's actually shaped, why is it the pictures of Earth from space show the wrong map of what? We've been lied to on every single level. Who knows what the fuck's going on? But yeah, is Ricky Sanger related to Margaret Sanger? And we'll do a deep dive on Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. Hey, best wishes to Ricky Sanger. I'm glad you found Jesus. I'm glad you got out of that occult pedophilia elite shit that's going on. I love you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. If you feel like donating $1, please do. It helps the channel. Helps me pay for notebooks, pens, little shit that helps the channel. A fan to keep me cool while I'm podcasting. Just little shit like that. It'll go back into the channel. I love y'all. Peace out, and God bless.